absolutely unbelievable.
It's the morning of day 2 out here in the Nevada backcountry. Yesterday, I explored some historic abandoned homesteads. Today should be a little more focused on natural features.
Well, it is, let's see, 5:50 in the morning. I've been peeking outside since about 4:45, looking for that beautiful, dramatic desert sunrise, but the clouds have not left us. The wind blew all night long. The truck was just rocking. Never did actually rain. Since I put the table and stove away last night because I was worried about it raining, I'm going to just make coffee in here with a little backpacking stove. We're a little protected from the wind. Protected. That is just not going to break up anytime soon. It's amazing how you could just be out here in the middle of the desert and there's just nothing, and then suddenly there's water. So I'm out here at the base of that butte that we could actually see from last night's camp. I knew this was here. I could see it in the satellite imagery, and wow, what a neat little oasis. What's amazing is that this little spring here feeds the next body of water we'll go to see right down the road here.
We stumbled across a couple small reservoirs in part 1, but this one is so much larger that it takes too long to even pan across properly.
Funny is that there was like this massive heat wave forecast for this week. I mean, it's supposed to come a little bit later in the week, but I am just freezing.
I've decided to bypass the point of interest I intended to visit this morning because the light is just so flat. I didn't plan to visit those mountains over there, but that should be largely BLM land, so I'm going to see if I can find a road up in there somewhere.
These mountains are so dramatic, and there's no trees, and you can just see every contour, and everywhere you look out across this valley, there's just more mountains that way and more mountains that way, and they're just so steep and dramatic. In fact, a lot of these mountains, I've noticed there's just no roads that go up into them because they're just too steep. There's no place to build a road, and there's probably no point. No one had any reason to build roads up in there. There's no trees to log. There's no I don't know, there's no reason to go up in there.
The road I found crosses a parcel of private land, but I applaud this landowner's signage. Non-stop access to BLM land only. That's fair to everyone. That's the way it should be done, instead of the ambiguous private property signs I often see implying you can't proceed on access roads like this. There are people working in that field, and it feels a little weird, but sure enough, the road goes on through.
This is absolutely unbelievable. I just am blown away every new vista. Look at these mountains. Just out here in the middle of nowhere. Tiny little dirt road.
Having last filled up in southeastern Oregon yesterday morning, I'm down to a quarter tank of fuel and grateful for this little gas station in the middle of nowhere.
So I have gassed up and I'm back off pavement again and heading off on another little sort of side excursion. Looks to me on the map like I can go up through some mountains and come down back into the area that I was exploring yesterday and that I sort of moved away from today because the light wasn't right for what I wanted to film today. So I'm gonna see if this works out or not.
Still hoping that tomorrow I'll be able to hit the point of interest I skipped this morning. So I'm going to attempt an alternate and more remote route back into the area and just see what I see along the way.
Yeah, so here's the situation. I can see my road going up along the side of this mountain here, and it's pretty steep, and you can see it wind up, but then at one point it just pretty much disappears. Even on satellite imagery, it looked to me like this whole thing was sketchy, maybe wouldn't actually work. Even in my notes to myself, I've got a big question mark on this route. Yeah, you can see how it's just all overgrown with sagebrush at that point, and it looks like there's some big rocks that have tumbled down the hill. Yeah, that's definitely a no-go. And it's just really common when these roads are just cut into the sides of these steep hills, and if they're not maintained, they eventually just sort of erode away. So I don't want to drive up into that spot there. I'm definitely not going to be able to turn around there, and I don't want to have to back down who knows how far along the edge of that. So that's okay. I knew that was going to be a possibility. What I'm going to do is go back down around. I'm going to come at it from the other end. Look like it might be some interesting scenery and possibly some interesting places to camp. So that's fine. We'll just do that. Yeah, even if this little segment wasn't successful, And it was nice just to come and drive up in here and just take a look at this other little valley with these mountains up around all sides. Really cool. What a beautiful state.
I'm happy to see the heavy overcast is finally starting to break up this afternoon. Maybe we can get these colors to pop a little more. So I have found about as good a campsite as one can hope for on a windy day in the desert like this. The wind has just been hammering across the desert all day long, and I found this spot. So not only are we tucked up behind this hill, down in this little, I don't know what you call it, these rock formations overhead, and then back there, the giant cave of mystery. And then looking out the other way, we're still sitting up pretty high. There's a view down over the desert and into the other features below. I'm still getting a little bit of a breeze swirling down in here from time to time, but nothing like the winds that have just been relentless out in the open. This is great. It's a little protection down in here. This rock is like, it's full of openings and little caves and holes. I haven't been in the giant cave of mystery yet, but let's go take a look at it. And needless to say, I have been very, very carefully watching where I'm stepping ever since the little rattlesnake encounter yesterday afternoon. The Giant Cave of Mystery is not an official name. It's just what I've chosen to call it. I'm not really a fan of subterranean exploration, but this is a pretty cavernous opening. It isn't so claustrophobic and doesn't seem to go very deep. Seems unlikely there would be any critters hiding in here, but I'm still a little on edge and moving with caution. Nah, I'm just kidding. There was nothing in there.
Clouds have definitely been breaking up over the course of today, so hopefully that's a good sign. Maybe overnight we'll end up with clear skies by morning.
It's nice to get a little break from the wind and just relax outside for a bit. And while there was nothing lurking in the Giant Cave of Mystery, the desert around me is nonetheless animated.
Please don't get into my engine compartment and eat my wires.
After a tasty dinner of braised Belgian endives and a pork chop, I'm ready to retire into the camper for the evening. The clouds have largely cleared out overnight, but I'll need to peek out of my sheltered little bowl here to finally get a look at a glorious desert sunrise.
So for my coffee on this trip, I had a viewer up in Canada actually, who has like a small boutique coffee roasting business, sent me some coffee. This is from Nicaragua actually, small batch hand roasted in Steinbeck, Manitoba. So they are Hitch and Bowler. Now this isn't sponsored in any way, just sent me their coffee to try, which is nice. And so I am enjoying it on this trip. Wow. Finally going to be a truly beautiful day.
I'm ready to head out for the next leg of my adventure. There's still more to come in this series. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode, and thank you for watching.